Hey everybody, so welcome to Learning from the Internet with Mrs. Shaske. We're going to go ahead and go through all of the different parts of the cell again. And then you guys, after you're finished, you're going to go back to the PowerPoint and finish up your notes. So let me kind of go over everything. So obviously you got to the PowerPoint where you would not have had a chance to find the link to the video. So hi everybody, I need you to listen carefully, especially in the beginning, so I can go over directions with you. After the video, you're back to the PowerPoint. You're going to take notes slide by slide. So the notes page that the cell gave you should go in line and follow exactly what slide by slide is. You need to take the notes that goes over what is the definition and what is the function of the endoplasmic reticulum, and then what is the function of nucleus and a nuclear membrane. So they'll go in order. Okay, when you're done, follow all the directions. When you're done, you have a tiny little assignment to give to me so I know that you follow directions. And at the end, and most people are done, please work on your project. Start bringing in your supplies, okay, because we're going to be making them in the next couple of days. So just let me go over it again. Welcome everybody. Listen carefully to what I'm going to explain to you. After the video, go back to the PowerPoint and take your slides. It's literally copying just slide by slide. Follow the directions on slides. When you're finished, you can check your work as well. And at the end, when most people are finished, you can quietly and politely work on your projects. Start bringing in your supplies. Okay, everybody good? I hope so. So let's go ahead and kind of recap. I'm going to switch this over for a second, and we're going to actually start with the plant cell. So the best way that I can explain the plant cell to you guys is we're just going to go bit by bit, and this matches exactly what we colored in the other day. Okay, so here we go. We have a plant cell, and I know it's a plant cell because it's box shaped. Okay, so let me go over the parts that are here first. The outside edge is the cell wall. Remember, plants don't have bones, so they need an extra way to support themselves. And they do this in a couple of ways. This is way number one, is that they have a cell wall. That cell wall offers protection as well as provides support, so that cell can stay that shape. Okay? If you didn't have that shape, it literally would just fall in on itself and wouldn't have the structure in order to stay up. That means stems and leaves and trunks of trees would not be able to stand up. So that cell wall is a definite helper. Inside that cell wall, you have a cell membrane. That cell membrane, and any membrane, lets things in and out of that cell. So if that cell needed water, that cell membrane would let water in. If that cell had waste, that cell membrane would allow waste to go out. If that cell needed carbon dioxide, it's going to bring carbon dioxide in, and it will let carbon dioxide come out. So whatever it needs, this little membrane lets things in and out of that cell. That's its function. Okay, so let's kind of go over what we did already. Cell wall offers support, helps it, keeps its shape. Cell membrane, and any membrane, lets things in and out of that cell. Okay, that leaves all of the stuff in the middle. And all of that stuff in the middle is called cytoplasm. It is literally a jelly or a jello that is going to hold all of the organelles in as I put them in. Okay? So, cell wall supports, strengthens. Cell membrane lets things in and out of the cell. Cytoplasm holds everything, supports all the organelles that are inside. Kind of like a jello. All right, so let's start building this and going over the functions. I'm going to go ahead and start with the nucleus. The nucleus can really be anywhere in that cell. We're just going to stick this little guy over here. That nucleus has a lot going on. First of all, that nucleus, on the outside of that nucleus, that black line that's right there, that is the nuclear membrane. That nuclear membrane, again, there's that membrane, and as soon as you hear that word membrane, you should know that that's letting things in and out of that nucleus. Just like the outside, the cell membrane lets things in and out, that membrane lets things in and out of that nucleus. So any membrane you hear, that's its job. Let things in and out as that organelle or that cell needs things. Okay? Then you have the nucleus part, which is the pink part. That nuclear part holds all of the chromosomes. Those chromosomes, okay, that is your DNA. On those chromosomes tells you what color your eyes are going to be, your hair color, your texture of your hair, your skin color, shape of your nose, the length of your nose, the shape of your eyebrows, how tall you're going to be. If your second toe is bigger than your first toe, those are your directions that are unique to you. That whole nucleus acts as a brain. It's a control center. Now, this little yolk piece that's right here, the little yolk piece that's right there, is called the nucleolus. And the nucleolus is a factory. It actually makes these little tiny bits called ribosomes. So this builds ribosomes, that's the nucleolus. These are chromosomes. It holds your DNA, okay, which is your directions to what you are. And then you have the nucleus, which acts as the control center or the brain. Then you have the nuclear membrane, and that membrane lets things in and out of the nucleus. So let's kind of go over things again. We're going to do this over and over and over again so you get really good on what all of these organelles and what they do. Here we go. Here we have the cell wall. Supports, provides protection, keeps that shape of that cell. Okay, and we know it's a plant cell because of the shape of it. Cell membrane, there's that word membrane, lets things in and out of the cell. Cytoplasm is the jelly that surrounds all the organelles and provides somewhere for them to go, kind of hang out in. It's kind of like water in a pool. Nuclear membrane lets things in and out of the nucleus. Nucleus is the pink section, acts as the control center or the brain for the cell. Chromosomes is your directions, okay? Provides genetic information that makes you a unique individual. Then you have the nucleolus, and the nucleolus makes these little things called ribosomes, and we'll talk about those in a little tiny bit. If you need to go back at all you got to do is stop the video, rewind, and go back. So that's an easy part to this, okay? All right, so let's get boogieing with some other parts here. Let's go ahead and do the mitochondria. The mighty mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. They kind of look like loaves of bread, okay, which gives you energy, or they kind of look like footballs too in a way, which you need energy to do. So the mitochondria is the powerhouse. It makes the power that supplies all of the energy for that cell. Okay, the mighty mitochondria. Okay. My next part is going to be cytoskeleton. And these are like toothpicks. They kind of go all over the cell, and they're also there again to provide support, to make sure that there's structure and stability in that cell. One of the largest changes between an animal and a plant cell is that a plant cell has one large vacuole, and we talked about this when we drew all this stuff. One large vacuole, and in a plant cell, that vacuole is filled up with water. And again, it kind of acts as a support. If you think, if this isn't there anymore, that cell's going to kind of collapse in and kind of cave in a little bit. So if you've ever seen a plant that's kind of wilted or looks like it's not doing very well, it's kind of drooping over, it's because that vacuole is not nice and filled up with water anymore. So how do you fix that? You water the plant. Soon after, that vacuole fills up again, stems start standing up, leaves go back to right position, and everything is all good. Okay? So cell wall, cell membrane, cell cytoskeleton supplies support. The mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. The vacuole, which in a plant cell is only one, but it acts as a baggie that holds things. The nucleus, surrounded by a nuclear membrane, lets things in and out. Chromosomes, which is your genetic information. And the nucleolus, which makes ribosomes. All right, if we are good, we're going to move on. Now, to make that plant's energy, it's got to have sunlight. And that sunlight are going to hit these organelles called chloroplasts. And these chloroplasts take that sun's energy and it's going to convert it to something called sugar. So chloroplasts takes sun's energy, or takes the sun's light and turns it into energy. And that's why plants are so green, because they're filled with these little guys. Okay, let's do another one. Golgi bodies. They kind of look like stacked up pancakes. I'm going to move this little guy over here for a second. Golgi bodies. They look like stacked up pancakes. These are post offices, or Amazon if you want to think of it that way. These take proteins, pack them up, and ships them to wherever it needs. Okay, I'll get into more of an example in a minute on that. Then we have endoplasmic reticulum, or ERs. Endoplasmic reticulums look like little roads, okay? And that's basically what they are. So if you think of the streets in your neighborhood or around our school, sometimes there's lots of them, sometimes there's not. It just kind of depends on how much room and how busy that cell is. I'm going to add one more over here. There we go. So endoplasmic reticulum, they act as roads, okay? Now, stuck to those roads or highways are these little tiny dots. And these little tiny dots are called ribosomes. Now, can you remember what organelle made ribosomes? There's one part inside the nucleus that makes ribosomes. Whoops, I tipped upside down. Just bear with me for a second here. There we go. There we go. I'm going to add a couple more. Ribosomes stick to the endoplasmic reticulum for a really good reason. I'll show you why in a second. There we go. I'm just going to grab a couple more. There's one more. Okay. Now, the ER that has these little ribosomes stuck to it, it's called rough ER. And it's because there's a bunch of little balls that are stuck to it. It's going to feel rough. This doesn't have any ribosomes on it, so it's going to be smooth ER. Okay. Now, the ribosomes are made back in that nucleolus. That nucleolus makes them and sends them out of the nucleus. They stick to the endoplasmic reticulum. Now get this. If the cell needs, let's say this part of the cell over here needs 4 proteins. Proteins are used to build parts of the cell, and it's also used to take care of all the business that the cell has to take care of. So proteins are essential. So let's say over here, let's say this part of the cell is saying, hey, I need 4 proteins. So these little proteins, these little ribosomes are going to make these proteins, and these proteins are going to travel through the ER. These proteins are going to go into the Golgi bodies. These proteins are going to be made. Okay, here's my group of 5 proteins, and those proteins are going to be shipped over to where they're needed. Okay, so let me kind of go over parts again. Cell wall offers protection and support. Cell membrane, there's that word membrane, lets things in and out. Cytoplasm acts as a jelly to hold all of these parts together. Chloroplasts take light energy from the sun and convert it to energy that cell is going to be able to use. Cytoskeletons act like toothpicks, act like a support. Your nucleus, surrounded by a nuclear membrane, again lets things in and out. You also have chromosomes that holds your DNA, which gives you your recipe. Also has a nucleolus. That nucleolus makes these ribosomes. those ribosomes can stick onto something called endoplasmic reticulum. That endoplasmic reticulum acts as roadways to send things around the cell. Okay? Ribosomes make proteins. Proteins are needed for every one of these structures to be remade, to be fixed, also to reproduce, they just do everything in that cell. Okay? Golgi bodies take the proteins that these guys make, package it up, and ship it anywhere that they need proteins. Okay? And you guys, that's kind of the plant cell and all its parts and what they do. So as I take things off, I'm going to go over parts again. I'm going to take the ribosomes off. Ribosomes make proteins, and proteins is what that cell needs to do day-in-day operations. Endoplasmic reticulum act as highways. Okay, things get on there and they go all over the cell. Chloroplasts take energy from the sun and turn it into energy that the cell can use. Cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton is used as support, kind of like toothpicks. Mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. Vacuole, one large baggie that holds water. Golgi bodies, that's your post office. Packages up proteins, ships it to different parts of the cell as they need it. Nucleus, brain or the control center of the cell. Cell membrane lets things in and out. Chromosomes hold DNA, which are the codes that make you you. Nucleolus, that makes ribosomes. Then we have on the inside that jelly stuff, that is cytoplasm, holds and supports all those organelles that we just took out. Cell membrane, in and out, and again back to your cell wall. So that's a plant cell. Animal cells are very similar. There's a couple differences though. So I'm just going to switch from plant over to animal, and then we're going to kind of go through everything again because like I said, some things are a little tiny bit different. Okay, here we go. So every cell, because we're talking about animal cells and plant cells, they are eukaryotic. And eukaryotic cells mean that they have a nuclear membrane that hold all the cells in the nucleus in place. So we already talked about this, right? Cell membrane, in and out. No cell wall. We have bones in our bodies, so we do not need a cell wall. Our bones hold us up. Cytoplasm. Nuclear membrane lets things in and out. Chromosomes again, our genetic information. Nucleolus in the middle. That nucleolus makes, can you think about it? Starts with an R. Makes ribosomes, and then those make proteins. Okay, so let's start building this again. Couple of changes. We still have mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. Now, we don't get power from the sun. We actually have to eat it. Okay? So food comes into our cells and gets changed into sugar, and that gets changed. Well, we'll talk about all that stuff in chapter 2. Then we have endoplasmic reticulum, same thing. Those are highways that things travel on around a cell. Okay. On our ER, or endoplasmic reticulum, we have ribosomes again. Now remember, if they're on it, it's called rough ER. If it's not on it, it's called smooth ER. So we're going to put our ribosomes on just one of these. Come on, stay over. There we go. There we go. So this is our rough ER with ribosomes. you go. Perfect. Okay. There's our ribosomes, or ref ER, and again, that ER acts as like a highway or roads, like in your neighborhood. Now, here's a difference, right? In a plant, we had one super big vacuole full of water. In an animal cell, we have many smaller vacuoles, but they're all over the place. Holds water, food, even waste products. Okay? Whereas the plant had one huge one, animals have many little ones. And again, there's storage, 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 storage. And these guys, they also have cytoskeletons. Now remember what a cytoskeleton is? It's kind of like a toothpick that offers support throughout your cell. So put some cytoskeletons in there. Okay. Couple other ones. We have a Golgi body. Same thing as it did in a plant. Golgi bodies take proteins, packages them up, and then ships them to wherever in that cell that they're needed. Okay? Proteins are made from ribosomes. So ribosomes make protein. That protein travels around the ER, goes to the Golgi bodies. The Golgi body packages it up and then ships it to the cell. Okay, a couple new ones. These are lysosomes, one of my favorite ones. Now I want you to think of the word Lysol. They kind of look like kidney beans. These Lysol little things, or lysosomes, act as cleaners. They kind of look like little Pac-Man, actually. It's kind of what they do. So these are lysosomes. Lysol guys go around, and if this vacuole is really old and worn out, it'll be like nom 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 nom, and eat it and get rid of it, digest it, and it's gone, and then the cell will make a new one. Okay, those new parts are going to be proteins. That's where these guys are so important. Okay, so we have lysosomes. Think of Lysol. They go around and clean things up, break things down. Even food. So if there's food in a vacuole and your cell needs food, the lysosome will come and break down that food so your cell can use it. Okay? Now, one other thing that this animal cell has that a plant cell doesn't, and I'm going to kind of shift this over just a little bit to give some room. And these are called centrioles. Centrioles kind of look like little soup cans. Those centrioles are only in animal cells. And these little guys are amazingly powerful because during cell division, and we'll get into that in Unit 2, during cell division, these little guys will move apart to opposite sides of the cell and will literally pull that cell and make two. So those are centrioles. So let me go over everything real quick again. Go over all the parts again. And then you guys can continue on in the PowerPoint and start getting your notes finished or started. So animal cell, circular shape. Cell membrane lets things in and out. Nuclear membrane lets things in and out. We have a nucleus, power center, or the brain of that cell. It's the control. In there, you have nucleolus, nucleus makes these little ribosomes. You will also have your chromosomes. The chromosomes act as a recipe to make you. Okay, ribosomes are right here. These make protein. Protein is needed by your entire cell to be able to reproduce its own parts, to be able to change and make energy. I mean, it's needed for cellular division. It's needed for everything. So these little guys make those proteins. Those proteins then would hop onto the streets or the endoplasmic reticulum, get sent over to the Golgi bodies. Golgi bodies package it up and ship it off. So for an example, let's say over here needs 5 proteins. Ribosomes make protein. Golgi body would package it up into 5 and ship it to where it's needed. The mighty mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. Vacuoles, small, many. Think of them as small little storage baggies. Food, water, and waste. Cytoskeleton, support. Lysosomes.
If you're still in the building, can you please
Hang on a second.
At 80320. That's the sign. Please call 80320. Thank you.
Lysosomes, think of Lysol, and they clean up the cell. Okay? They break up the extra worn off parts. Okay? And the last one, like we talked about, are centrioles. Native cellular division, incredibly powerful. All right, guys, so listen carefully because this is what I need you to do. Go back to your PowerPoint. What you're going to find is, and grab up your notes page that your sub should be giving you. You should have plant cells and animal cells on the top. Excuse me. Plant cells, here I can do it on the back of this. You guys can kind of see it better. On your paper, you should have plant cells, animal cells. There should be a line over here that says only animal. Everybody finding where I'm talking about? You should have that piece of paper. And this is only plants. Okay. Each one of your slides that you're going to go back to on your PowerPoint is going to give you, the first one is ER, and it's going to give you some words. I need you to write those words down, and that is the function of the ER. Okay, so you're going to find actually a picture of it, and then you're going to find kind of like a reminder. So I'm pretty sure that there's like pictures of roads. Okay, then there's the actual picture of what it looks like, and you have a definition or function. Write those down, write that down, and you have pictures to kind of help you remember. You don't have to draw the pictures or anything, but kind of remember what that function is. Okay, then you're going to, after you write it down, you're going to go to nucleus. Write down the function. Again, there's some pictures there to kind of help you to get that in your head and remember what it does. You're going to go through all of them down to cytoskeleton. Okay, then the next slide, you're going to see either plants or animals. So just follow through, and then at the very end, there's some directions on what to do after that. Okay, I hope you guys are finding this helpful. Come with questions next class. Then again, start bringing your materials. We'll do a good review, and then you guys are going to have a quiz in a couple class periods. Okay, all right. I will see you next class.